to the Trinity Force Podcast. Yo, it's that Triforce cast beaming straight to your home. Grab a beer so we know Pone ain't drinking alone. Send an email, a quick tweet, just pick up the phone. Leave a message at the beep if you're a creep, watch your tone. Discuss the meta game, patch notes, whatever helps your stats most. Obi-Pone Kenobi is your last hope to snatch gold. So grab your headphones and join in the fun. We'll try enforcing some jokes and some cringeworthy puns. Yo, we can make it together, people. Trinity Force Podcast. These boys are second to none. Now that's the end of the intro. It's time we begun.
Hey guys, welcome to the Trinity Force Podcast. My name is Adam Ponophobia Cogswell, and I am back for this lovely Monday evening to discuss some League of Legends with you all.
You're alive.
I'm alive. I'm not
Yeah.
dead. Yes, and took a nice long 4-day weekend to enjoy my wedding, which is now over with. I'm a married man, so starting a new chapter of my life with my beautiful bride.
So it feels completely different now, right? Right?
No, the only difference is I have a ring on my finger now, and it feels really weird because I don't wear any jewelry ever. So
does that affect your gameplay?
It did for a little while.
Question.
It actually did. It was like really weird because it's really weird to sometimes to hit Q and W because my fingers aren't like together. You know what I mean? It's like it's whatever. It's weird.
So would not recommend to hit diamond with?
I recommend giving your diamonds to other people.
Oh,
Wow.
Heyo.
Hey, Tally's here.
Hey, what's going on?
Tally, you looking spruce?
Yeah,
Fresh.
I don't know. Possibly could be different.
Tally, if you haven't ever seen Tally in person, he used to have a beard, and he shaved it off now, and he looks probably like 9 years younger.
I'll take it.
You look like a fresh baby boy.
I know. I am freshly saved. It feels like a fresh baby's bottom right here, so it's very nice.
ooh.
And on the opposite side of the spectrum is Brad Punchinello, who is with us.
Yes, I am. Somehow Tally and I didn't get fired after last week's episode. I count that as a plus.
Well, we did receive some feedback on that, and there was the good feedback, and there was the bad feedback. And I thought it was hilarious because one of the we received a bad feedback, and I say bad. It was not bad. It's not negative. It's just, I don't know.
He didn't like it.
He just didn't like the show. The one guy didn't like the show. He's like, Brad and Tally are dry. They shouldn't be together. And then another guy writes in, like 2 hours later, totally different guys. Like, I loved it. I think they should duo every Patch Note episode. They were, to matter of fact, and it was perfect. And he's no offense to the other guys. I'm like, none taken. I don't care. That's fine. If you don't like my voice, don't listen to the podcast.
Weird.
I'm
gonna assume those two gentlemen don't get along. They were meet in person.
Or they are best friends.
It's funny. One of them mentioned the Sejuani 25-minute discussion. I remember listening to that years ago too.
Man, that Sejuani, for those of you that are new or haven't been around forever, the Sejuani 25-minute discussion was the worst half an hour of podcasting I think we have ever done, because it turned into the most heated argument. I've told the story before. It turned into the most heated argument on the show, as if not more heated than the Renekton versus Cho'Gath argument. And for days after, I was playing mediator between certain hosts on the show and trying to make sure people weren't going to leave. And oh my god, just people were mad at each other, legitimately mad after they ended that show.
So it was good times. Remember sitting through it with a small smile on my face, like, this is actually entertaining.
And other people were like, you guys went on for too long. Like, just shut up. But that's not the point. Sometimes you just have to argue. But you know what? If you guys are enjoying this and you enjoy our 25-minute discussions, you can always support us on Loot Crate. By the way, if you bought this month's Loot Crate, there is an Overwatch Legendary box in it.
Ooh.
So all those.
What does that mean? How many legendaries do I get in this box?
I don't know.
Wait, is it like an in-game opening thing?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah, there's an in-game Legendary box for this month's Loot Crate.
Shit.
Now, I'm not sure if you pick up the code today if you get that. I just do know that it's this month. So I'm assuming it came at the beginning of the first of the month, or it comes next month. I actually don't have the emails in front of me with that one. But you know what? You can get stuff like that if you sign up for Loot Crate for those big games. Like if you don't want it now, in a couple of months, if something really big comes out, you can jump into Loot Crate. So what you want to do is go www.trylootcrate.com/TFN and then use the code BRIDGE10 for 10% off. You're supporting the podcast for $20 a month. You don't even have to pay the $20. Pay it once, get out, whatever you want to do. Again, trylootcrate.com/TFN. Use code BRIDGE, BRIDGE, 10, the number 10, at checkout for 10% off, which puts it under $20 shipped. You get a ton of awesome stuff. Get stuff for your games. I know, like Christmas last year, there was Hearthstone, a bunch of packs that came out. There's been other Blizzard stuff. There's just little pieces for different games. You can get different characters, T-shirts. It's a really cool, geeky, nerdy box, and you just get a ton of cool stuff to wear or use, bring to your office, or give to your girlfriends because they will likely steal everything.
Oh my god, all the figurines.
Yes, much like mine did as well.
All the cute stuff.
All right, so I think we're going to follow up a little bit with patch 6.12. For those of you out there that want to hear the Aram discussion, I'm going to say we're not going to talk about it. And it's primarily because none of us play Arams enough, or even competitively. Like I know there's a whole subset of people who play Aram competitively, much like they play Dominion. And I've heard a lot of the strategies, and they sound great, but I just play it to have fun. And so any of the changes to it don't really do anything for me because I don't analyze that mode. Yeah,
we can give a TLDR of it, but you'd probably be better served just reading the patch notes for those. I mean,
well, it's TLDR. All summoner spells are quicker, except for dash, which is longer. Items, a bunch of items got removed.
You get gold. When you get more gold, you level up quicker. The health backs give you less health.
There's a home guard early in the game. It's just made the game supposed to be a little more even when there's uneven teams.
Yeah. Oh, and if you're stacking like Viger or Nasus stuff, it stacks twice as fast.
Yeah, every Nasus would go AP in that mode because you can't.
yeah, that's true. You just go glass cannon Nasus. That's always a good thing.
Right. Well, I do want to talk about, since Champion GG actually updated today with win rates, I want to talk a little about that. I want to talk about Jhin a little bit because I know you guys had mentioned him on last week's podcast and wondered why I was riding the Jhin train so hard. And I do want to talk about it's like near the middle end of the episode if we have time for it. We can talk about like nuances and whatnot about champions because I think there's a bunch of really cool nuances out there that people don't know about. And if you're not subscribed to the Champion Select podcast, you might not hear some of these. So we're going to do kind of like a mini Champion Select episode here with just characters, like little nuances of characters that we may know, like little things. I know Punch knows like the EQ combo with Caitlyn. We'll talk about like something like that and little things.
Oh yeah, I'm an expert at that combo.
Yeah, we could tell an awesome story about that. I wish I had that clip. That's when we needed Plays TV because it'd be hilarious.
Oh, all
right.
I'm running that all the time now.
I am too. If you haven't checked it out, go find us on Plays TV. Use hashtag TForcePlays to tag your plays, and we'll retweet them. We'll throw them on our channel. We'll put them out on Twitter. We want to see your plays, so just tag us at TForce Network. Find us on there, Ponophobia, Telenasty, Punchinello. You can find us. Join our Discord. All right. So we're looking at Champion GG. We're looking at win rates as of this 6.12 patch and what these win rates mean and how to decipher them. And humorously, every time you go and look at these win rates, like if you go show all win percentage top to bottom, you'll notice that there's some really weird or awkward champions that are in there, and you kind of scratch your chin a little bit. Like, why is Scion the winningest support champion in Plat Plus with a 0.3% play rate? Same thing with Galio, 0.64% play rate.
I think you just answered your own question. Very, very low sample size.
Yeah.
So the only people that are playing it like know the hell how to play that matchup, and they're playing against people that don't know how to play against that matchup. Like what? I don't care if you're a support man. You played against everything, right? You never played against Scion support, so you don't know exactly what to do in that situation.
Kurgan brought up something interesting for Galio, where if you look at Galio's win rate by games played, it actually goes down. It kind of like flatlines midway and then just goes down the more games you play. And his theory was that maybe the reason for that is Galio's just not a good all-around champion, so the people that are spamming him every game probably aren't having a ton of success because they're trying to shoehorn him into every game, whereas people that just pick him every so often, like this 0.64% pick rate would suggest, they're picking him because he's really, really good in certain matchups. So they see something they like, they pick Galio and then dominate the lane.
Yeah, it also makes me kind of wonder where those stats are coming from. Are those stats also only Platinum Plus? Because I can imagine that there's some Galio mains that are just not super high elo. Also, by that percentage, it says 2014 to 2015 ranked experience. So are they taking past seasons? I guess
into
account because it's still like.
And are they not taking the current season?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
What is that? Is that on his page?
Yeah, champion GG slash Galio
Yeah,
slash
I'm
middle.
there.
So yeah,
I,
right under the win percentage by games played, it's 2014 to 2015 ranked experience.
Huh.
So I imagine that since it's kind of the first half of the season, they're trying to decipher who is a Galio main and put that into numbers. But it also makes me think that like a lot of this isn't applicable because he's changed so much. I don't know.
Yeah, that one's hard. I can't say with any kind of certainty what exactly
But
that is.
that is also a good like thought process that Brad brought up.
Oh, how to look at it over the larger.
Yeah, like maybe I mean, if you're a mid lane and you're really mid lane player, you really know all the matchups and you know when to pick Galio. That might be better than someone just like Galio's my favorite champion. I'm gonna play him into everything. Urgh.
but then you would think that the people that just play him into everything her probably how did they get to platinum or diamond with a 40% win rate? According to this, I think this data is kind of skewed. It's something to take with a grain of salt. Just kind of look for a trend overall. Just because we don't know exactly what they're taking into consideration here. Is this 2-year-old data?
Well,
Maybe.
for
Yeah,
that,
I mean
maybe.
that's weird that you'd be seeing platinum only players with a 37% win rate that are Galio mains. That just seems
Maybe
like
they just swapped to Galio mains and they're
that
sitting in
just
flat
yeah,
5.
that seems like a very odd subsection of data that doesn't have like when the Galio overall is 55%, but the Galio mains are only winning 37%. I don't know about that,
Yeah, it's weird.
Well,
but all
So-
we know is that he's doing pretty well.
he's
overall.
doing pretty well. I guess Malzahar is doing pretty well still. Yet he has a 22% ban rate, but I don't even see him get banned in games up in platinum anymore.
Yeah, I think last week in ranked fives we experimented with stop or not banning Malzahar just because I kind of had the feeling that nobody really knows how to play Malzahar. Like, didn't he originally start getting banned because he could just clear the jungle for free? He was really good at clearing the jungle. And he did it really fast. But how many people actually know how to jungle with Malzahar? So
If they listen to the Champion Select podcast, they'll know how to jungle with Malzahar. At least
hey,
the old
there you
jungle.
go.
That was AD Malzahar, old
Wait.
AD Malzahar, right?
Yeah, it was.
But I mean, these percentages actually talk about top and mid, and I know he was pretty high in all 3 roles, top, mid, and jungle. But I mean, top and middle definitely seemed like they'd be easier to play. I played Malzahar last week for the first time in top. I did fairly well for the first time playing the champion. I thought fairly well. I mean, he seemed easy.
Yeah, he's pretty easy. But I wish the numbers here. We have play percentage. For example, Illaoi, top lane, right? She's at a 51.22% win rate. You see her. I think she's the type where we see Zed right now. He's banned at 83% of platinum games. And Illaoi's only banned in 8.35%, which is actually a significant amount of bans. But with a play percentage of only 5% compared to other champions like Riven, etc. I'm really surprised not to see more players pick her up and play her because she's actually super dominant in solo queue. I mean, we've all seen it. But like we'll talk Illaoi, right? We've always said she needs a specific team comp played around her. She needs to play into a specific team comp. But in like solo queue, if you're looking for a champion just to dominate lane and use those little quirks, Illaoi's your champion to go to.
It's not only like let's start talking about like why Illaoi's difficult to play again, right? And with that talk we had with Skarzard, where Illaoi's actually a fairly difficult melee champion to play, and it might not be because of mechanics so much, but because of play style. Like she doesn't. You can dominate the lane. She's definitely a lane bully, just like most Juggernauts are. But after the laning phase, Juggernauts kind of struggle. As opposed to what is their role now? Do they just sit with the team and soak damage? How are they going to contribute to the fight? And Illaoi kind of seems like she's in the same vein there. Like her ult says she wants to be in the middle of the enemy team, but she has to get there. So is she just sitting on the front lines and then flashing forward, or is she flanking like an assassin? I think an Illaoi main would be able to elaborate more on that, but I don't think it's easy for someone to just pick up Illaoi and then immediately know what to do after laning phase.
If you're playing Illaoi or any of these other champions, I think there's a lot to be said about understanding your role as not just for how that champion plays, but understanding your role in the team composition. Because Illaoi, for example, is very good at skirmishes around Dragon and very good split pushing and one-on-one. She can even go 2v1 very easily. Like, you have to buy an Executioner's Calling if you're playing into her because how much she heals. But understanding your role as Illaoi or any top lane champion is understanding when to split push, how to split push, and what to use your power to the best of your team. Use your power for the best.
To give your
advantage
team
of
the
your
best chance to win.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I'm trying to go. Right. Mm-hmm. And we can all group up as 5. I don't think she's bad at doing that because she can help quite a bit in poke comp, assuming she can land an E. But she's not all that great in a siege, besides maybe landing that one-off E. She's better in those skirmish fights where she can have a couple tentacles down because in top lane, I think I was reading our Summoner School here today, and somebody had asked, how do I not die early as Illaoi? And it all comes down to understanding how to place those tentacles. And if you remember a few podcasts back, I mentioned that you kind of need some prep time as Illaoi in top lane. You need to be able to drop a tentacle or two, and that allows you to start winning levels 1 and 2. Well, more like level 2 pretty easily.
So what you're saying about her being better at skirmishing, I think that's kind of the problem with her kit, is that if somebody new to Illaoi will just look at her ultimate and say, oh, she's a team fighter, look at that. She just AoEs people down. Mm-hmm. But again, if she's actually better at split pushing, which you wouldn't think because she doesn't really have any way to get out of top lane if she's getting ganked, she kind of just needs to stand there and fight.
No, she just wins. She just wins 2v1s.
Right. So it's more nuanced to play her. She's got a play style that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, that's very true.
That reminds me a little bit like Rumble top lane, who I used to play. I haven't played Illaoi, but a lot of times Rumble would, if he's post 6, win a 2v1 situation. If he was anyone ahead. Even if it was even, his ultimate can really turn around.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Of Rumble every game.
I was playing against a Rumble. We were playing against Rumble Jungle the other day, and one of my teammates over voice chat yelled out, what is it? I don't know if he said since when, but he was basically like, what? Q works through Zonias? Since when does Q continue to work through Zonias? I'm like, that's always
been like that.
Rumble. Yeah. You press the button and it continues to work. Mm-hmm. Even when he's overheated, if he presses Q, it continues to work and do damage.
That's like half of his kit. If you want to get that last boost of damage, you overheat with the Q, and then you auto attack to get the AP empowered auto attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of someone else who's really hard to play, I can't figure out Rumble because I guess I build too much damage and just die immediately. I thought I might ult and then I keel over. Like, I didn't play that right.
You have to understand Rumble is such a balancing act. And it's like you're gonna go, oh yeah, well, duh, that you have to manage heat. But he's such a balancing act between balancing heat and understanding how to use your empowered abilities while understanding how to use and when to use those empowered abilities while playing around his cooldowns. That he has, it's so easy for you to tilt the teeter-totter too far one way or the other, where you end up losing a fight because you mismanage your shield. And also understanding when to max Q or W, or not Q or W, you always max in Q, or W or E, because like sometimes you don't have to max W second. Sometimes you can just throw all that extra damage into E. It's. I think what a lot of people don't understand with Rumble is that he actually can win extended fights just based on the overheating and the auto attacks. Because not a lot of people use the auto attack animation with him because we've complained forever. It's very hard for him to. So that base skin doesn't have the best auto attack animation. Well,
the animation sucks for last hitting. I mean, in team fights, if you're overheated, just throw out some auto attacks if anyone's near, but don't put yourself in a situation where that's going to get you killed. I mean, a lot of what makes Rumble hard is just placing a good equalizer. Like, the difference between a good and a bad equalizer can win or lose you the game. Especially
don't drop your equalizer halfway through terrain and only get part of the
exactly. And it's one of the harder things to do. And if you use quick cast, if you don't use quick cast, it's like different. And if you're not used to it, you can very easily misplace it. And then not the length, but the range you can actually cast that from is significantly more far than you would think. If you're walking down from top lane to gank mid lane, you could cast it down mid lane from like middle of river.
Oh yeah, a lot of them. And remember, like, use angles to your advantage with this because a lot of Rumble alts are better on an angle than they are straight down a line unless you're in the jungle.
Like, make them have to walk through it. If you put it straight down the lane, they're going to be able to walk around it. But put it in an angle so it's like it forces them to cross it, or they're running into terrain and crossing it. Like,
Yeah, again, equalizer placements.
You could have a whole podcast just on equalizer placements.
I remember we talked about that with the Rek'Sai. We were like, we could have a whole podcast on tunnel placements and using tunnels to your advantage.
Extending the tunnels over areas so that you get a longer tunnel, especially for ganks, etc. Then leaving them there, making them hard to get to, so you could do that tunnel into another tunnel, but like it's under the turret, so it's hard for them to step on it. Yeah.
See,
As someone that plays neither of these champions, I gotta say, tunnel placement sounds a lot more boring than talking about equalizer placement.
You'd think so, but there's something to be said that's really cool about, like, they know that tunnel could be used later, but they can't step on it because it's right in that like turret range, and it goes over more terrain than it's supposed to. But if it starts the tunnel and has to finish it on the other side, and then using that to your advantage.
Well, it was kind of unfortunate with the changes to a mage itemization that Rumble got left completely out of it. Like Vlad got a lot of help, Rumble got nothing. He got left in the dust because he doesn't need CDR. He just wants flat magic penetration.
CDR often kind of fucks you up because you're so used to managing heat in a certain way, and if you can use your cooldown so much faster, you're operating on a different timetable entirely for overheat.
And you don't need it because by the time Q comes, I mean, you might need 10%, 15%. Because I don't remember what the magic number is there, but Q is pretty much off of cooldown the moment you are done using it. It's got like 4 seconds left.
Yeah. I mean, I thought at the beginning of the season, like the mastery changes would really help him with Deathfire Touch and stuff, but I don't know. I liked it once. I think I even called the Rumble Jungle before it became like a thing, but yeah, I mean, he's going to be. I just always found him kind of fun to play, mostly because nobody else played him for the longest time.
I always liked Rumble. That was banned champion forever.
He does take Thunderlords, right?
Yeah. I would end up taking Thunderlords on him. I wouldn't take Deathfire Grass.
Just making
so I
sure.
Trades.
Thunderlords definitely is better in laning phase, but I think Deathfire Touch would be much better in team fights and late game.
It'd be nice if Thunderlords didn't exist.
Yeah.
The king of all.
But even
that fits perfectly with his kit. I mean, that goes with the Rylai's, the Leandries, and then obviously another burn. Like it's.
I think it just depends what you want to do. Do you want to really win late, or do you want to poke people out? I might consider Deathfire Grasp instead, just because it works with his empowered auto attacks as well.
It looks like
when I was powered auto attacks,
it looks like Thunderlords is taken more often, but Deathfire Touch actually has a higher win percentage.
I think it probably depends on. I mean, it's decided for you by the matchup.
Then that was going to be my next section. If you could afford to go even in lane, then you could take it.
Or if you're just going to farm it out, then
that's what I meant. If you have a really hard lane matchup, then you can't really afford to. Maybe
I could be wrong here, but like there was once upon a time Rumble was really good in most top lane matchups, but I don't think that's the case anymore, right?
No, not really. He doesn't. There's not a top lane matchup out there that's favorable to him right now. Like Illaoi's going to shit on his face.
Malphite.
Yeah, Malphite's going to know.
It actually looks like all the
skill matchup.
Looks like all the pro players are taking Deathfire Touch. All the top lane pros, Marin, Soul, Looper, Shy, they're all taking Deathfire Touch.
I think that makes sense if these matchups are poor for him and he's just looking to farm it out. Because otherwise, why would you need Thunderlords? And you'd only do that to board the lane.
Well, you know what champion that I want to see more people play out of top lane?
How do we get off on this? Go ahead.
We're just talking about ban rates and stuff. I think Volibear is a phenomenal jungler right now. But I do think he's also a phenomenal top laner. And that's because he has wicked burst damage and the ability to play around minions. I do believe that Volibear is a better top laner than he is a jungler, just because he's such a lane bully. Now, we're talking about tips and tricks. Do you want a tip and trick for Volibear? I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Okay, there's actually two of them here. One is there's a nice combo you can do with him. Q is an auto attack reset, and you can chomp people while they're flying midair. So what you can do is you can walk into somebody, auto. You can what do? Excuse me. Let me think about this one for a second.
You're a bear.
Yes, you auto R, Q flip W, because if you get a 3. You activate your alt, you auto, proc alt, cancel your animation with Q for another auto, another alt proc, and spam buffer bite as soon as they hit the cast point for your flip. So you get that third. So you auto cancel, auto flip. That counts as an auto attack reset. W, bite them in the air as they drop, slow them with E.
Is the R actually attack reset, or is it just a cast
The
animation?
Q is the attack reset.
Okay. So the R is just in there from extra damage.
Right. Yeah, you proc, and R's got tons of burst damage in it anyway. But that's the way to get a ton of burst damage out of Volibear. And also what's really cool about him trading, and it's something that I don't think a lot of people realize, is, E fears minions. And when you fear the minions, your minions will automatically start attacking them, and which will take the minions off of you, and you will actually win trades that way because you won't have the minions attacking you, even though you started the fight in their minion wave.
That's such a tiny nuance, but that's really funny to think about.
Yeah.
But minions win trades all the time if you're fighting a minion wave, especially top lane.
I know Volibear wasn't included in the Juggernaut grouping of champions when they did that rework, but I mean that's essentially what he is. And
Definitely.
The few times I have played against him, he's definitely builded like a Juggernaut. He can be pretty damn scary against another melee champion. Well,
I would agree. Isn't he more like a tank though, just to play devil's advocate, than a quote unquote juggernaut, because he usually builds just straight tank.
Sure,
but like I'm kind of like
I think more of initiation though, and I think he's kind of lacking in that department because all he has is Q.
Yeah, I guess my question was more kind of like, what is a juggernaut? Not to get existential.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody's wondering that at this point.
They already
it's not classified champions anymore.
They already went through that, and they had like all the different classifications of what champions are, and we never discussed it.
Yeah, because it's dumb.
And I didn't read it either because it's a top laner. God damn it! Plus, Volibear will let you win a lot of trades because of its passive. I mean, that's pretty.
Baiting people, that's always fun.
Yeah, pretty obvious. But you can just build straight health on him and do fuckloads of damage. Plus his ultimate has really high base damage. He's really, really good out of top lane right now. Plus he can and then obviously teleport plays make him even better because he can initiate off of anything without needing an ultimate to do it. I'm very much under the impression right now that if you're going to play solo queue, you should play some kind of carry out of top lane. You shouldn't be playing Maokai or a tank out of top lane right now.
Carry is an odd word. If you're talking about Volibear, if you're talking about somebody that can actually bully top lane and just kind of steamroll it, then yes. I think when people hear carry, I think a lot of them might think of Riven or Fiora.
Yeah, no, play it. Fiora got a nice buff this couple patches ago. That's why she's seeing pro play right now, because you can't cleanse the her ultimate. You can't, the Grand Duelist or whatever the fuck it's called.
I wasn't saying don't play those champions. I was saying that's not what you're saying, right? Like, you're not saying be limited to these carry top carries.
I mean, play whatever the fuck you want, but I think
bullies.
I think you should be playing very heavy lane bullies, and or you can play Swain if you want to, and even Swain can be a pretty big lane
he's
bully.
overpowered.
Yeah, I played Swain for the very first time this last weekend and won my lane against a Fiora. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. Because I can play anything. And so can you.
What is this? There was like old Ponophobia mixed with new Ponophobia. Like, cool, because I could play any champion.
There's a mixing of the Ponophobia?
And then old Ponophobia would say, because I'm the best.
What has this ring done to
new one
you?
would be like,
listen,
this helpful guy.
I have a 67% win rate on Jhin over 50 games played. I am the best. Okay? I'm amazing. I don't even play fucking bot lane. I don't even play any carry, but I can play Jhin, goddammit. And I can play Jhin very well.
It's okay. Yeah. Pretty good.
And speaking of Jhin, we're going to talk about why I think Jhin is one of the best AD carries right now. And why I think he got amazingly super buffed in patch 6.12.
Super buffed?
Yes.
Maybe a little buffed.
No.
You have to convince me. I don't see the super part.
Because we had this conversation this last weekend about double-edged sword and taking that extra 1.5% damage, but you deal an additional 3% damage. And Jhin, the way you play Jhin is Jhin is a lane bully. Well, he's 100% absolutely with your partner a lane bully. You need to, if you're playing Jhin, you need to hope that somebody is picking a Karma, a Zyra, Vel'Koz, something to play into it with you and allow you to get those W procs off. I see a lot of people when I play Jhin try to pick Janna with me as if I need protection to get to a spike point, and I don't need that. between the extra 3% damage that I'm dealing and the additional AD I'm receiving through like Mortal Reminder and whatnot late game, I'm not losing as much as the other AD carries. Now, we'll step back. Well, we talked about Fervor last week, right? Like that was a nerf across the board to every AD carry that picks up Fervor.
More of a nerf to some than others. The champions that are doing a lot of auto attacking, not as big of a nerf as it is to Lucian, yeah.
Well, Jinx,
Jhin doesn't take that,
Twitch,
right?
Jinx and Twitch are doing really well right now. MF is doing really well right now because she has some crazy Korean one-shot build,
but they don't.
and Sivir's doing really well right now.
They don't change skills as quickly as Lucian does. Is kind of the where the nerf falls into, because he can build it a lot faster than they can. They can throw. They do weave in an ability, but it's one, maybe two. And
Right.
Jinx will open up a W, and then she's only going to get another stack off an ability if she lands traps.
Yeah, pretty much. So the reason I think Jhin got so buffed, and you actually can see it in Champion GG, that his if you sort it by AD carry, I think he's the fifth. Yeah, he's the fifth winningest AD carry behind Ashe, Twitch, Misfortune, and Jinx, the other ones that I mentioned previously, and primarily because Jhin got a buff with Double-Edged Sword, being able to do an initial 3% damage when you're not being touched because you're playing lane with another lane bully support, allows you to do more damage. You're rushing Ghostblade because you want all that extra movement speed and extra damage.
But it got nerfed.
It did get
Chronophobia.
nerfed, but you don't need Vampirism. If you start running the numbers on Vampirism, you're gaining like 3 or 4 life on auto attacks, and he doesn't auto attack quickly enough to warrant getting that extra life at any point in time, and his abilities don't do enough damage to give him enough life back to make it worth it. It's better. You're better off taking the natural talent. Because if you take natural talent, you essentially lose only 3 AD when you pick up Ghostblade total. Because natural talent got slightly buffed to give an additional base 2 AD.
The tooltip for natural talent in the client still doesn't make any sense to me, because it says plus 2 AD and 3 AP at level 18. Does that mean that's all it's giving you at level 18, or does that mean per stack? That's because like either of those doesn't make sense.
No, it's supposed to give you like 10 total.
Yeah, it's like 10 and 15 respectively total.
You have to put points into it.
It's like 2 plus. Yeah,
it's 2 plus level.
Confusing because there's a base value plus a scaling per level value. I still think that you're taking Vampirism, to be honest.
Well,
you don't need it. That's the thing.
I think for the
need Vampirism.
majority of AD carries, but I like the point you made for Jhin is that he just doesn't attack quickly.
Yeah, but
enough.
it helps spell like that. But if he's not attacking quickly enough, he's getting life back in bigger chunks because of lifesteal.
It's not enough life back. You start running the numbers, it's like 5 and 6 life, if that, and that's like max Q on a bounce, and that's about as much as you were.
You talk about for spell vamp?
Yeah, it's spell vamp and auto attacks. He's attacking once every 0.65 seconds. I know that increases with level a little bit, but the lifesteal doesn't help Jhin as much as just raw AD.
Wait a second, 5 or 6 health per attack doesn't sound that
Actually,
bad. I mean, if Feast is giving you 20 health,
Feast gives you a flat 20 health around every 30 seconds.
yes.
And you don't need it though. That's what I'm saying. You're not taking enough damage through and it depends totally on the matchup,
your
how you're
support,
playing
yeah.
it, and all that stuff. There's a lot to it because like you're not going to take Double-Edged Sword if you're playing into like a Lucian Thresh or something, something that's
Fuck
like
that.
right. You're playing into something or like Bard Ezreal. If you can't keep up with that as Vel'Koz, Jhin,
Or Zyra Jhin.
yeah. You need to take this and be the bully. You have to be the bully in lane. You have to continue to be the bully throughout the entirety of the game. And a lot of trades are actually decided at level 2 with him if you have a support that's on the same page. Now, if you have a Jhin in your game, the Jhin should actually walk into the bottom lane. You can attack the first 3 minions, get a grenade bounce, and kill all 3 with a grenade bounce. Pop, 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 and it'll go back and pop the back one. And if the person's standing too close, it'll actually jump onto them, which then they take a quarter of the life because it gains damage every time it kills a minion and then pops onto them. And there's a lot of little nuances with playing with Jhin and using that Q properly, but you need your support to understand. I don't think a lot of people understand that with Jhin, all you have to do is auto attack. Just auto attack. All you need to do is just throw out your hand, smack them with that little orb thing, and we start winning trades.
Yeah, I think people need to save his abilities more for when he's reloading. That's something I had trouble with Jhin. Is for some reason I was I kind of thought his abilities were worth using, like a normal caster AD carry, but because he doesn't have attack speed, I don't know. He just felt really weird to me because the ammo system. I never got used to the ammo system. I hate it, but I wouldn't be attacking as often as I should be. I'd be casting abilities in between my auto attacks when that was just wrong because auto attacks are the vast majority of his damage. Wait until you're reloading.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, okay, so let's say we rush it, we made it through. You get Ghostblade. Like, that's the number. I've had people say, why would you get Ghostblade on Jhin? Why would you build this? Because movement speed is so crucial to Jhin because of how slow his attack speed is, that being able to reposition yourself in the middle of a team fight through Ghostblade is just as beneficial as the bonus 10% AD that you're receiving when you pop Ghostblade. It's 40% attack speed that actually turns into 10% bonus AD when you pop it. And you want to use it when you pop Ghostblade. You can get 4 attacks off, assuming you can get them all off on the exact timer. You have like a little leeway. So you really want to pop Ghostblade when you're on attack 2, 3, 4 or 3, 4 rather than 1, 2, 3, 4, unless you need the move speed to move around the fight. Because you can only get the 4 auto attacks off through the duration of Ghostblade, and that's assuming you can attack on cooldown.
Okay.
So you want the Ghostblade proc for your crit.
So you can reload during it and still get the extra 2 attacks off.
Yeah.
Okay.
At
first, I thought you meant that like you can only do it if you didn't reload. Attacks 1 through 4.
If you do 2 attacks, reload, you can get 2 off. It might be 3. I think it depends on your level, because you do gain attack speed with your level, so you do attack a little faster as the game goes on. I don't remember I don't have the break-even point numbers in front of me.
I'll trust you.
I've played enough of it. But there's that. You want to hear some more stuff about Bottom Lane that I've been learning a lot recently? Because I think there's more here.
What about the other item changes? I mean...
Mortal Reminder gives plus 10 AD. It's like really good to get on him early.
Early? Really?
Well,
as in a second item after Ghostblade?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily like that. The way I build him
not
is...
That early.
Not early. More like third item.
Okay.
I don't see that third item on him.
Yeah, don't look at pro builds. Seriously, don't look at pro builds with these things. Because if you look at pro builds, last time I looked at pro builds, Jhin had like a 20% win rate on pro builds. Like out of the 10 games it showed, it was 8 losses and 2 wins. And people are still building him with like Essence Reaver first or rushing into Eye Edge and whatnot. And I'm here to tell you that's completely not the way to play him. You want that mid-game spike with that Ghostblade. You also want to run flat armor pen in your runes with some addition with like 10 AD and some flat armor, because if you have all that flat armor, then you don't necessarily need to go into Mortal Reminder or Lord Dominic's as early either, even though it's really, really good on him. But just the way that the game has been playing out, when we've seen Olaf and Irelia's and whatnot, by the time you get into fighting those, they have started to rush some kind of armor item, and you need that additional penetration to push through them, because as you know, it's 4 attacks. That's pretty much all you're getting off in a team fight. What's that? There was what was the other piece with him? Oh yeah, it's you moves Ghostblade into rapid fire cannon, get Boots of Swiftness some point in there, and then depending on what the game needs, Mortal Reminder or Lord Dominic's, and then either Eye Edge or Bloodthirster. You can also go Mortal Reminder into Blade of Drekthar. Is that the name of it, or Duskblade?
Duskblade.
I'm seeing occasional Duskblade on him.
Yeah, and that's for like the extreme burst situations.
I remember seeing that a little bit on Lucian, but I can never tell if I was actually doing anything.
I feel like that's if you're like steamrolling, because that's such an expensive item.
I haven't tried it yet, but yeah, it's a really expensive item. I thought about building it, but usually I just keep going with rapid fire cannon because I want as much upfront burst as I possibly can get, and then I'm trying to execute somebody with Q to get the bounce damage over to throughout the team. And then we can go into all talking about his ultimate, but you can just pick up the Champions League podcast if you really want to hear all about that. But there's that, and the other thing I wanted to talk about tonight too. There's something
else about bot lane.
It's about Soraka, because we see a lot of Soraka, and there's some numbers here with Soraka that you need to know. So a lot of people think that harassing the AD carry is more beneficial than harassing Soraka. I think, and I don't know if you guys hold that ever. You're like, all right, well, if I harass the AD carry, Soraka has to use her life to heal him back up.
Well, seeing as she has a harder time healing herself now.
Right. So at level 9 with no AP or bonus health, dealing 200 damage to her is a flat 200 damage. But if you do 200 damage to the ADC, you're essentially only doing 105 damage to the ADC, or you're essentially doing 95.5 damage to the ADC.
Based on the efficiency of her healing and what she spends to heal her.
Because she only has to spend 105.5 health to heal it back. To heal that 200 damage, it costs her 100 health. But if she lands a Q beforehand, she's effectively paying 41.5 health to heal 256.
Damn.
So harassing her is more important than harassing the AD carry and making her spend her mana and health to heal it back up.
Not to mention, since it's harder for her to heal herself, and when she's at low health, she can't heal her AD carry.
Correct.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
I see too many people. I mean, sometimes you get caught in a rut. Punch would know this as an AD carry, where you kind of have to attack the enemy AD carry because the Soraka is playing so far back, or your support is attacking the enemy AD carry. But like, I feel like it's a support's job to set you up to be able to get to the enemy Soraka.
They should be looking to do that.
Right.
Whereas in most matchups, like you said, it's how do we get to the enemy AD carry instead of how do we get to the enemy support. Now, you'd have a real easy time against Soraka if you're playing against me, because I'm crazy aggro with her for whatever reason. And I get myself killed. So look for that. Look for that guy.
I've played with one Soraka that was pretty much winning the lane single-handedly for me with how aggressive she was with her Qs. I don't remember what we played into. I know where I was Jhin, but I could just W onto them and walk up and start poking them out with Qs and auto attacks. It was actually, just land auto attacks. If you're playing with Jhin, just land stuff and let him land his W and go ham. That dude is just bonkers right now.
The bonkers.
But enough about me. What have you guys been? If you guys have even been playing League, I don't even want to hear.
You know what I've been playing.
Oh, you guys are the worst.
I don't know what Tally's been doing.
Well, what if
Zyra.
What if I was to say that there is a potential for a 5v5 podcast tournament coming up with something on the line? Would that get you guys excited to play some more League of Legends?
Oh my goodness, would it?
That'd get me very excited.
There's something stirring in my pants. Just listening to that.
I have to go find my tryhard pants.
I need you, Tally. I need you to look at your girlfriend, say, "Woman, get to the wash. I need my goddamn pants. I'm putting my try-hard shit on, and we're getting to Diamond this season because we're about to win this shit."
Yep.
What is this shit?
Well, there actually is no official announcement yet, but if you guys remember,
it's an announcement.
Oh shit! It was probably 2 years ago at this point, a year and a half.
Wow.
That we played the League of Legends Anonymous podcast. Remember, we played before. There was a while there where we were playing LCS Rundown. We had a best of 3 with them. We ended up winning the best of 3.
Oh yeah, we won.
And then I made up a fake belt. Well, we played Lola, and Lola ended up beating us.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember that either. And they had the belt, but then
Was there an actual belt?
Yeah, I had an actual belt.
Like
or I have one. I think Luke has
like
it now.
a world championship belt, like one of those WWF belts. Or...
Right. Well, I've been in talks with them and about that. Apologize for previous about dropping the ball and that, not allowing it to happen, and not getting the discussion out like we had promised, and all this other stuff. A lot of you out there are probably like, "Oh, they hate Lola. They don't want to do it because they don't like that." I can guarantee you that the rumors for that are not true. There was a lot of shit going on at that time with us growing into Patreon and whatnot that was really hard for us to continue to push hard. But I want to bring it back. I want to invite Lola out to be the number 1 seed in the tournament. I want to invite Just Okay Gamers. I want to invite LeagueCast, the other people that are out there. I want to invite. I know there's other League podcasts, but they only have like 1 or 2 people on it. They don't have 5-man teams like we do. So what we'll probably do is start really small and probably invite LCS Rundown again in, since they were in the previous one, and do like a quick 4-man tournament. And if it turns out really well and people are excited about this, we're going to extend it to be bigger. And we're going to continue to do this tournament probably once every 3 to 4 months.
Ooh, I love it.
So that way,
I've always wanted the belt back, even though I don't remember losing it.
But
I'm pretty sure I lost sleep over losing the belt.
I was very upset that night, and I've gone back and watched the games. I know, Tally, you weren't in those, but we were winning the very first match, and then there was like a series of throws.
Oh, we're really good at that.
Oh, that would tilt me so hard.
It was
if I was your coach.
it was a bad. I remember specifically the final throw that lost us the game, and it's just bad calls and too much hubris.
From this group, never.
But if you can't tell, I am excited about this because I really do want to get back in there. And like I said, I want to give them the number 1 seed. Now, what that means, number 1 seed would be playing. Likely to be a rematch against us to start. Like normally, you give number 1 seed, they have to play.
We're the worst team.
Well, yeah, number 1 seed usually play the worst team. Now, I don't know. I can't say like Leaguecraft is the worst team or Just Okay is the worst team or whatever. But bringing them in as the big guys.
Maybe they get to choose as number
that.
1 seed.
Yeah, as number 1 seed, you could choose.
Again, this is new Ponophobia saying that he can't call another team bad.
Yeah.
I don't know this guy.
No, they're fucking terrible. Everybody that's not us is fucking trash, of course.
There we go.
The problem comes with us because I need to start loading other AD carries because the moment we play, my Jhin is automatically gone.
Yeah.
Well,
you're showing your weakness.
What else can you play? Rumble?
I've seen some Ezreal a little bit.
I can play Ezreal. I can play Jinx. Well, kind of. I just have to.
I'll feel confident in kind
You don't
of.
want me to play Ashe. You literally never want me to play Ashe. I will miss every single arrow ever designed to fly out of my arm.
Well, that's the problem.
Well, that's
You should be firing it from a bow.
Yeah, thanks. That's what I was gonna say.
I could play a bit of Twitch. Like if this was happening, I would push my diamond grind off the side and start spamming the shit out of other AD carries.
Yeah,
Sounds good to me, man. I'm ready to practice.
The problem here with Punch is that he only plays Poppy and Irelia.
There's nothing wrong with that.
You should have just stopped at Poppy. Of course, they probably already knew about the Aurelia, but I mean, I'd much rather they ban Poppy.
You're making scouting so much easier for them, Pone.
I know.
Okay, come on. We
There's
are
a better strategy here.
We are. I won't even say arguably. We are the biggest League of Legends podcast. We are likely. I'll say we are likely because I don't know for sure. I don't have everyone else's numbers in front of me. Like for all I know, Lola could be clearing 100,000 fucking listens a week, right? Or Just Okay could be clearing 150,000. Like I don't know. But still, we are likely the largest one out there. Meaning most people listen to us. Meaning most people understand our personalities. Meaning most people are likely gonna know what we play, and we would have to do some crazy scouting.
Yes. Or like Thallium's pointing out, I'm also a very mean Darius. I think everybody knows that. Yeah.
You're a mean Darius.
Definitely.
See, this is
I do all the Darius things.
This has been my plan. I just haven't been playing, so nobody knows what I play.
One of your 5 Smurf accounts?
Yeah.
Unless they're signed up for Patreon, then they know that you play Nidalee and Elise.
If they're willing to make those donations, they can find out my champion pool.
And listen to your tips and tricks on how to play it well.
Pay us money for scouting.
Oh. All right.
Scouting report.
What does it say about his power level? But that's it. We are actually working with them. I have a meeting. Hopefully, I think I said tomorrow. I'm going to push it back to Thursday. But we've got. I'm going to be talking with those guys to try to figure out specifics on what day we can set it up on. We want to do it sometime in July. I do know that Frown Power has just put together a tournament as well for you guys out there that aren't us and don't want to watch us play. It's going to be a 5v5 tournament open to everybody from bronze to challenger. Anybody can play in this tournament. We're going to randomly balance teams, and we're going to try to make teams bronze to challenger to the best of our abilities. And if you
not randomly balance.
No, we're going to randomly generate teams, and then we're going to just throw ranks around until they are somewhat balanced.
Okay, got it.
But like basically we're not looking at names.
We're going to shake up the teams.
Yeah. Because I don't want random to be 4 platinums on a team and 1 bronze, because could happen, right?
Well, yeah, random. You could have the team of all diamonds going against the team of all bronzes in the first round. That would be true RNG. But you want to normalize the teams in a random distribution.
We're gonna random the names and then normalize the teams.
I can see why I'm a downer.
Yeah, I need you to learn Jungle Kog'Maw, Tally.
I'm undefeated on Jungle Kog'Maw. I played 1 game and I won it. I can orb walk. It's all. I can't guarantee that level of scripting that we went against that Kog'Maw.
Oh my god!
You know they still haven't banned that account.
No shit. Is he? Is he Masters?
I went and looked. No, he doesn't play ranked anymore. He got his account. I'm not gonna say anymore.
Did he make it to Diamond?
I forget. He either stopped at Plat 5 or Diamond 5, and does it just plays nothing at ARAMs. He plays, and I looked through the ranked history, and he plays one game every month, so he doesn't decay.
Oh my god!
And it's not the champions that he was scripting with, he or she.
Oh my god!
Allegedly.
I need to go find this guy again. I'm gonna go look him up.
I looked it up on OPTGG. I don't know why I thought of it like a week ago, but I looked it up, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy is still here.
That's great.
But, yeah.
Well, I think that's pretty much gonna end it. You guys got to listen to us ramble on an hour about this and that, and hopefully you guys pick some tips and tricks. If you guys remember a while ago, also on LCS Rundown, they had Vantage Esports on. We're going to be bringing Brett, their CEO, on here probably next week. I just finalized that information today. We're going to be talking statistics with him and League of Legends statistics, so it's going to be really, really cool. They'll have a pretty big announcement that day to talk about as well, so that'll be a really cool episode for you guys. And, yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this newer format of the podcast where we're just kind of like having fun and talking about what we want to talk about and whatnot. Like, we're still obviously going to do patch rundowns, but I think you guys get a lot of information by playing with us. And by the way, if you want to play with us, join the discord.trinityforcenetwork.com, or join the Inverse in-game chat room as well, because we play a lot of games with people and a lot of people learn from just playing with us, so it's really cool. I know I just spent like a half an hour selling the podcast and us, but you know what? Fuck you guys. You can deal with it. Old opponent phobia is back, bitches.
Yeah.
Now I
back.
I need a beer.
Have you been drinking this episode?
No, I haven't drank at all. I drank for 4 days straight and nearly killed punching me on Saturday night. So
bring it back next episode.
That's not gonna.
You know.
Can we do that
needs
next
time to heal.
episode? Everyone has to have a mandatory of 2 ices.
2 ices.
I'm gonna mail Mitch a case of ice.
Have his roommate sneak it in the drawer.
All right.
Oh,
go ahead.
he's not an Amazon. He's not in an Amazon Prime Now location, is he? We could get him an ice within an hour.
Middle of the episode,
At the start of the
knocks on
show,
his
we'll just
window.
order him some ice.
Guys, thank you so much for listening to the Trinity Force podcast. That's episode number 370. We hope you all are enjoying our content. If you are, feedback at trinityforcepodcast.com. Email us. Guys, we will see you on Wednesday with more League of Legends discussion. Peace!
See you guys.
See ya.